Hey everyone, what the flock is going on? Titanic Llama here, and in today's video, we'll be starting my free-to-play Eidolon guide/playthrough. First things first, let's lay out some goals and ground rules for this playthrough. The goal of this playthrough is to reach the end of World 5 and beat Kattlecruck while explaining my process as I make my way through the content without making any gem purchases. Gem purchases meaning buying blue or green gems for real-world currency. I am able to purchase from the gem shop, but only with gems that I have earned through in-game means. I am, however, restricting any purchases from the limited time shop. The one caveat to this will be I will purchase auto loot as soon as it is available. The auto loot pack also comes with 900 blue gems, which I will give my opinion on how I feel you can spend those to maximize their value, if you yourself choose to purchase auto loot. Auto loot is not essential by any means, but it is certainly a huge convenience boost, so keep that in mind. Any companions that I receive from my weekly free roll are fair game. As far as events go, I will participate in any events that are available during this playthrough, though I am restricting the use of any event cards or equipment like name tags to try and keep this guide as generalized as I can. By no means am I an expert on this game, and I am not going to claim that this guide will be 100% accurate or perfectly efficient. This is just how I tackled the progression and my path through the content. With all that out of the way, let's get into it, shall we? Okay, so here we are. We've just created our first ever Eidolon character. What do we do now? Panic. No, I'm joking. Don't panic. Yes, you. I said stop panicking. The beginning of Eidolon these days is actually fairly self-explanatory, especially with the lava guide up in the top left-hand corner, which I do advise following along with. Not so much as hard and fast rules you need to stick to, but more of a guide on what to work towards. For now, it's telling us to check out the Scripticus quest line, so let's focus on doing those quests. But before we do this though, there is one thing that we can do to give ourselves a nice little boost as soon as we start off. If you walk up to where the Town 1 portal is, open the chat box and type in, "Give me hat, this is case sensitive," doing this will give you a free hat with decent stats for early game and can be received on each and every character. Once you have your new hat, proceed with Scripticus quests until you reach level 5. Upon reaching level 5 and returning to town, you will receive a pop-up that forces you to create your second character. This also explains how your characters work together to help each other and work towards pushing your whole account further. There's a couple important things to take note of on the character lobby screen. The first of being your total account level, which will appear here, and second being the milestones at which you unlock new characters. Keep these milestones in mind. For now, I want to get both of these characters to level 10 by continuing with the Scripticus quest line. Upon reaching level 10, we will be able to choose a class from Prometheus on the Board Beans map. Pick whatever interests you first. I went with Warrior for my first character and Mage for my second. Upon reaching the jungle for the first time, you gain the ability to purchase auto loot, which as stated earlier, I will be doing for this playthrough, for the convenience it adds, and I kind of think of auto loot as the box price of the game. I feel like if you're enjoying the game and you see yourself playing it for a while, then it's worth grabbing. It also helps support the game, and heck, it's a once-off $5 purchase. Okay, with auto loot purchased, we get 900 blue gems, and there is one purchase that is a must and should be every player's first purchase regardless of whether they are buying gems or earning them in-game, and that is the Infinity Hammer from the World 1 Bonuses tab in the gem shop. For now, we're going to hold on to the rest of the gems from the pack, though now that we have the Infinity Hammer, we can produce 2 items on every character at the anvil forever. So remember, once you have this purchased, cycle through all of your available characters and make sure you are using both hammers on each character. One thing to note here is you can actually stack hammers. If you click on any unlocked production item twice, it will display a ×2 multiplier and will produce materials twice as fast. Remember to check back on your anvil every so often to claim your production items, as once they reach the cap shown here, you will no longer produce items on that character. One thing I personally like doing when unlocking characters before sending them off to the mines or to be a lumberjack for the foreseeable future is to actually level them up to level 15. This will unlock the second talent preset, which will allow you to have separate combat and skilling talent presets, or specs. If you've done this on both your first and second character, congratulations, you can now make your third character, which you should do ASAP. I told you to keep those milestones in mind. Once we have access to our first 3 characters, the game really starts to show its full colours. We can have one character gathering mining resources, one character chopping wood, and one character that we are funneling all of these resources to so they can craft better gear and to continue to push through the maps of World 1, working ever closer to the big bad wolf at the end. I also feel here's a good place to point out you don't have to make any specific class at any certain point, but in general you do want 2 warriors, 2 mages, and 2 archers in some combination within your first 6 characters. For this playthrough, I made my first and third characters warriors, my second a mage, and currently my fourth is an archer. You could make your first an archer or a mage, it's entirely up to you, go with whatever you want. The hat that we got from town, a yellow t-shirt, torn jeans, and a sleek shank. Wait, huh? A sleek shank? Oh right, time to get sidetracked. Hopefully by now, you are level 20 on the character that you have decided to push on. If not, baby boas are probably going to be your best source of experience for now. But always remember to check the AFK info window just in case you have a higher EXP rate elsewhere. If you haven't got the character that you're pushing on to level 20 yet, go level them up to level 20 now. I'll wait. You're level 20 now? Great. Go back to town and talk to this guy. For reasons that I'm not going to go into here, I hate this guy, but you should still talk to him. He will unlock the task board, the merit shop, this unlocks tab, and achievements. I won't be going into achievements in this video, you should explore those when you get curious. Though you should already have a couple of tasks ready to hand in. Tap to complete any that you can and go into the unlocks section. Scroll down until you find the sleek shank. I personally feel like this is one of the best early unlocks to grab along with the weapon upgrade for the class that you're pushing on. With that purchase, if you have been collecting thread from the anvil occasionally, you should have the thread required, and the weapons required as materials should be fairly easy to make by this point. Okay, with your new sleek shank made, as I was saying, with the hat that we got earlier, a yellow shirt, torn jeans, and a sleek shank, with a few armor stones from the World 1 shop, will give you the defense required to survive World 1. You should level up your class's secondary stat whenever needed for the accuracy and just put the rest of the points into damage talents like Sharpened Axe and Gilded Sword. An even spread is always a safe option if you're unsure on which is better and when. As for your class-specific talent trees, make sure to grab your active skills, don't forget to assign these to your combat bars, and pour the rest of the talent points that you get into your class's main damage builder. This will be High Polymer Limbs for archers, Power Overwhelming for mages, and Carry a Big Stick for warriors. Keep in mind, you'll want to have around 60 accuracy by the time you're attempting the World 1 boss, Amarok. One thing I've neglected to mention up until now is the card system. Every now and then, when killing a monster or doing a skill or claiming AFK time for either of those activities, you can receive a card of the mob or material you're farming. You can equip these cards through the Codex tab at the bottom of the screen and going to the Cards tab at the top. Each card has a bonus that will take effect once equipped. The copper and oak cards are really good early on as they give defense and accuracy. Also, there are some cards that will be passive cards, which means you do not have to have these equipped to gain their benefit. A good example of this is the Forge card for smithing experience. The boss in World 1 can be killed fairly easily, and with 2 stacks of food, we can trivialise this fight. So let's run through the fight now and what you need to look out for. I personally find it easiest to toggle auto on and off throughout the fight. I do play on PC, so it's easy for me to do so while also using WASD movement, but you do what feels comfortable for you. For this strategy, we want to snuggle up to Amarok's leg as if we're cuddling up to our anime waifu body pillow, regardless of the class that we're fighting him on. This will allow us to ignore one of Amarok's major attacks. And those stacks of food I mentioned will also allow us to tank 2 others. There's 2 main mechanics we need to look out for using this strategy. The first is when Amarok lifts his leg to stomp the ground. As soon as you see this, toggle auto off and run into this lower section of the map. Wait for the stalagmites to finish rupturing out of the ground before running back up to the boss and toggling auto back on to continue attacking. You must dodge the stomp portion of this attack as it will most likely one-shot you. The stalagmites don't hit as hard, but still do a decent chunk of damage if you don't manage to run away in time, but do your best to avoid them. The second thing we need to watch out for is when Amarok lifts his hand without the sword up to his hip. This means he is about to summon one of 2 different totems. As soon as you see this, toggle auto off and begin running towards the top platforms. Once the totem is spawned, you want to snuggle up to it like we did with Amarok's leg. This will mean that the long-range rocket punch attack the boss uses won't actually reach the character. Toggle auto back on to smash it before returning to attacking Amarok. The 2 totems Amarok can summon are a blue totem that will spawn on the middle platform, which will give Amarok a shield which reduces all incoming damage to 10 per hit, and a green one that will spawn on the top platform and should take priority if you get unlucky and Amarok decides to spawn totems quickly. The green one will periodically heal the boss, so smashing that as quickly as possible should be your main focus throughout the fight. There's 3 other attacks Amarok has. Amarok will raise his sword into the air and start to spawn fireballs down onto the map, and a long-range punch where he aims his arm at your character and fires it out at you. If you are using the food strat, you can tank both of these. If not, try and avoid the long-range punch as it does do a decent chunk of damage. And lastly, Amarok will try and swing his big sword at you. As long as you are snuggled up to his leg, this is a safe zone. The sword won't hit you. Stay focused, pay attention to what Amarok is doing, and before long, you will have the crystal to unlock World 2 in your hot little hands. Stay tuned. Episode 2 will be coming soon, and we will be diving headfirst into some of the systems I failed or neglected to mention in this video. If that sounds interesting or you found this video helpful or entertaining, then please consider liking and subscribing. It would be massively appreciated. Also, if you want to watch this playthrough live, you can catch me on Twitch. Link to my channel will be in the description below. But, with all that being said, I am Titanic Llama, you have been watching a video, and I'm out. Peace.